I'm co-host James Ash.
And I'm co-host Phil Scaife.
Welcome to the Business Lockdown.
So welcome to today's episode of the Business Lockdown. This is an episode that I know that many members of the audience have been looking forward to, and James and I have been looking forward to. You'll recognise Paul Spence from episode 24, our first revisit, because in our first chapter we dealt with a lot of issues, and we talked about the incident and the recovery and that journey. But we're all looking forward to hearing and understanding what happened from 2016, I think it was where we got to. Yeah. What's happened from there? Because you baited us with so many different things that have been going on with different magazines and charities and businesses and things. So welcome back to the show, Paul.
Thank you very much, lads. Thanks for having me. Thank you. I really enjoyed it, episode 24. So it's great to be back and have the opportunity to talk about the charity and the business.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you again, and let's get straight to it. I think the first thing to talk about is the charity. What is the charity? How did it start, and where are you at?
So, right then. So I'll try and do this in a nutshell because there's so much I can talk about again. But basically, I've been through recovery and a good understanding of brain recovery and the challenges. My recovery hadn't been helped by the lack of support in the community for people affected by brain injury. Fortunately, I recovered well, and I wanted to make a difference. So I did this Facebook site, launched it, and there were people messaging me from our community, will you come and see my mum? Will you come and see my dad, my brother, my sister? So I was actively going out in the community, sitting with these people and just passing on some wisdom and some learned experience and trying to help people in any way that I could. And the loved ones would say, will you come and see him or her next week? So, I was doing this and it quickly became a 24/7 sort of operation. I was working in schools, talking about brain injury, mental health. I was openly speaking out about my vulnerability, and accessing support had really helped me. And I was working at the hospital, being a volunteer for, patients in acute services. And so, and it was getting quite overwhelming, if I'm honest. I mean, obviously I was just coming out of my brain recovery journey myself, after that 3 years. And so I went to the local NHS, asked them for some support. We worked on a business plan. I mentioned that earlier on in the previous episode. We worked with the NHS, and we opened the first community-based support and guidance service in our city for people affected by brain injury in our city. Brilliant. Which was a momentous day of absolutely amazing. It was just so good. With fantastic trustees who helped us, with this. Obviously, I mentioned Neil and Sue in the last episode, and other people. Some fantastic trustees that came on board, and local business people and ambassadors, and that was such an amazing occasion. Obviously on my own journey, but more importantly, the people it would serve. Nobody would be left alone in our community, and families could come and gain access, support, and education and services to help them.
Yeah. Amazing. I remember that launch as well. I think I was a few days back from a 3-month stint in Asia, in Southeast Asia, and came back and covered the videography and was doing some interviews and stuff. It was a pleasure to be part of that and stand back and just see. You could see that the clear work that everybody put into that to make it happen. So fond memories of that day for sure. And how long did that buzz continue, mate? How long did that buzz continue, and was it? Did that carry you through when there was a lot of challenges from the word go? I know starting any kind of organisation or business, brings a lot of challenges. How was that, very early on moving forward?
I mean, the buzz from the launch day, I don't think I've ever come down from that, if I'm honest with you. This was just truly amazing. A lot of hard work and a lot of support from so many people. And then obviously at the launch, there was the chief officer the CCG NHS, Emma Latimer. There was MP Carl Rope. There was neuro. The head of neurorehabilitation, Dr. Salawu. This was like just truly amazing. And people like Dr. Salawu, I had actually been an inpatient with Dr. Salawu, and there he was, opening the Brain Recovery Centre with us. So a really amazing day. And obviously since then, things have developed so much. But it was fantastic to open the doors. And actually, I had been working with people in the community, and obviously I had my own experience. But there were the thing about brain recovery is that everybody's different. We are all different. We're all unique in our own right. So everybody will present with different challenges. If you and I had exactly the same brain injury, lads, frontal lobe brain hemorrhage, we'd have similar challenges, but we would all present with different challenges, because we're all different. We have different likes, different loves, ambitions, and different ways of thinking. And so there's not one blanket approach for people. You know, so trying to support all the different challenges that are going to come with brain recovery is the big challenge. And so we've learned over the first couple of years of people accessing our service, we've learned about what all these challenges might be, and we're still learning today. There's always somebody that will come in that was something that we haven't thought of, that they're struggling with, and that they need that support to help them. But we've always adapted to suit the needs. We've always been very proactive in this. You know, we don't want to just settle and just try and have a social time, and that's your lot. Or we try and have a neuropsychologist to do this, and then that's it. We've very actively, and that's been the hard part about developing P.A.U.L for brain recovery, is to suit the needs for all. Because it's so complex and it's so wide range that's it's tough. And obviously the funding for all the rehabilitation, neurorehabilitation support services is expensive. What should we be supporting people with? What shouldn't we be supporting people with? How do we get people to access services through the NHS that they should have accessed, but maybe they've fallen through the net? And what we've had to do is, although we were, a year later we were commissioned, which was another, I've just really jumped to that one. In 2017, we were commissioned by the local NHS, which was fantastic. We're one of very few brain recovery organisations to be commissioned in the UK, if I'm honest. So this was just, again, another major milestone for P.A.U.L for brain recovery. And it's working with the NHS and working with all the neurorehabilitation and the community services to work out how to refer people and who should be accessing what, who's fallen through the net. And like I said, it's so complex. Everyone's working so hard out there to support people. But obviously, as you know, a lot of services are just underfunded and so many people. And because brain recovery is so complex, that it brings its obvious difficulties. But we've just worked hard to, and also, to be fair, we've had to work hard to prove ourselves. Yeah. I was just a brain injured guy saying I wanted to help people in the community. And we've come on so much from that, and obviously working with lots of different professionals in our city and outside of the city to provide the need and add that professionalism and support for people. And we're still continuing to do that. Sorry.
You must have to do quite a few fundraising events then.
Yeah, I was just about to get into that because towards the end of the last episode 24, was it 20? Just the number 20, was it 26 marathons that you just dropped in loosely at the end 26. Of the episode? Was that right?
Yeah,
26 and was it one Ironman and
Ironman, yeah, that was just unbelievable. I mean, I was never a runner pre-brain injury. I didn't really go to the gym. I mean, I was active. I was fit. I was a former electrician, so I was hands-on and physical. It was a physical job. But I was obviously worked hard. Played hard. I was, partied and obviously on the beers and what have you. I was never really into sort of self-care, physical fitness or anything like that, if I'm honest with you. And at the time, I didn't think I had to be. And really, I could get away with it, lads. Like a lot of people can. Actually, on a cellular level, at some point, it was going to come back, and I was going to realise that I couldn't be like that, And I think that's how a lot of people are functioning. Actually, after brain injury, I realised I had to look after myself, invest in myself, practice self-care, be so active with thinking about my mindset, and using my mind space wisely, and lots of other sort of traits of sort of good care and practice that would help me recover like I did, and actually that I could encourage to help other people.
Yeah.
And on the third year of recovery, I did a marathon. I never thought I'd do another marathon, if I'm honest with you, but I just pushed myself that much in recovery with men's health, did a half marathon, and I just wanted to be a good example to other people that were going through recovery and to try and help them. I really knew how difficult this was. It was so hard. And I was really fortunate and privileged with great friends and family. And so I thought, if I push myself and I be this example, I'll do anything to make this work. And, I was never a swimmer. I swam a mile. And I did a 26-week marathon challenge to finish my third year of recovery. So it would start with a swim. And I was an appalling swimmer, if I'm honest with you. In fact, sorry if I'm bouncing about a bit here. You know what I'm like, I like to, don't I? But my friend, well, James had ran a half marathon event on the first year of my brain injury, and we raised £17,000. And one of my friends, Chris, good friend, Chris Tramner, he did this run, trained hard for it, and it inspired him, and he wanted to do more. And he said, I'd like to do a sprint triathlon. And he said, will you do it with me? And I said, I'm sorry, mate, I can't swim. And I walked away and I thought, how can I say that to him after he trained for this half marathon? So I went back to him. And I said, I'll have to go to the swim baths and learn to swim. So I said, oh yeah, I've got a friend who's a coach. Let's go to South Holderness. So I went along, sort of flapping about like a big daft dog in the water. And I got across for a legs, puffing and panting. And the coach said to me, you have to put your head in the water and exhale, inhale, exhale. And I said, you can't breathe in water. He says, of course you can. We had a bit of a stand-up. He says, are you taking the pee? And I said, are you? And Chris looked at me and he says, have you forgot? And I says, really? And I went under the water and I blew out, obviously, I mean, you can. And I come up like a big excited kid. I was like, wow, that's incredible. I just forgot I could exhale in water. And there's lots of other things that I did, quite comical. Throughout my recovery, I had such a poor memory. I just forgot a lot of basic, instincts of being human. And so from there, I learned that I could do the front crawl and I could breathe out, and that was quite a revelation. And I sort of built up my swimming, went on to do a triathlon with Chris, and then I did a mile swim at the start of this challenge, and I could swim, cycle, run or row as the weeks went on, and it finished in a marathon. And actually investing this, and I was doing videos, sort of showing myself, I was doing this, and people were sponsoring. We raised £8,000 from that event for the hospital again. I presented that to the consultant who'd saved me at the start of recovery. And from there, I did that marathon, and I thought, actually, it's not too bad. I can do another one of those. And then actually, I went on to do 4 marathons in 4 days around Ibiza, but that's another story. I did a lap of the island.
That sounds like a pub crawl.
Yeah, it was. It was actually what the message was there, Phil. It was, I'd been to Ibiza previous 4 days, stag do's and what have you, and the clubs and the pubs. But actually, I couldn't do that anymore. But it didn't mean to say I couldn't enjoy the magic of Ibiza. I just had to do it in a different way. I was different, and I had to look at things differently, I had to adapt. Yeah. And actually, I saw the real beauty of Ibiza doing these 4 marathons, 4 days. I took a team of 5 from Hull and a lad who did the videography, and that was actually on Sky, and it was at the City World. But that's another story for another day. And actually, when we was on this fitness journey, we did the Hull Monty, which was a great event. The Hull Monty, which was...
I wouldn't know anything about that.
No. I wrote my friends into 5 of us, obviously, the Hull Monty on stage. Terrific friends, and that's, I've been really blessed and privileged with friends who have always got involved with lots of different events, pushed their limits, and about 20 topless waiters. We did 2 events, and that raised £10,000 for the charity. Unbelievable. We did a workman calendar with my old work friends on the site. That raised sort of £3,000 in their spanners and their hammers and their drills, and covering their modesty and all that sort of stuff. So it was all fun, and it was something different, doing lots of different activities to fundraise. And then the charity was registered, so we never brought the whole Monty back since it was registered, and I don't think we ever will. Obviously, we have to be more professional. But we've still continued to do fantastic fundraisers from, obviously Paul's 10K, which has been the annual event. The first year was the half marathon, 70 friends. If I'd have asked them to do it again on year 2, I would have got shot, I think, because there was some aching legs. And what we did at the time, because Paul for Brain Recovery, remember, wasn't actually even there then, we raised £4,000 for a local charity, Life for a Kid. And we had about 100 people get involved in that event, and we raised £4,000. It was a 10K. It was more manageable for people. And it's been 10K since. Actually, that event's gone on to raise tens of thousands of pounds for... It was the half marathon for the hospital, Life for a Kid, and then the third year was my marathon year, first marathon, and the last 10K of my marathon, there was over 100 people there waiting for me to finish that run. That was just, it was unbelievable. I'm just truly blessed, and them people, all them people had carried me throughout early recovery, and there they were again, to support local causes, support the hospital. And that's when I really felt the power of the community and the power of giving, the kindness, the sheer kindness of people, just so overwhelming. And I feel that today. And actually, I feel thankful in a way that I've been able to recognise that, because actually, if it hadn't have been for my brain injury, I don't think I ever would have done.
Yeah.
And it truly is overwhelming. And so, after the third year, the charity was starting to grow. In 2016, we opened the Brain Recovery Centre, and we asked the public to support us, support people after brain injury, support our development, and they have done in abundance. In abundance, all those years, people coming back to do Paul's 10K. We've done various other events and cycling, swimming events, running events. We did the Paul Ball, so we did the masquerade ball at the Guildhall, sort of 300-400 people coming along singing, dancing, and just generally having fun, and auctions and you name it, sports people from around the city and the country have been supporting us. The development is just extraordinary. From
clearly, there's a lot being going on. I do know that the Paul 10K recently, like many things under this new normal that we find ourselves in, was unable to go ahead, and it was really lovely to see everybody in their branded T-shirts and tops and banners and stuff coming together as a community. And with that in mind, I know on Sunday you launched, was it a 2.6 challenge? Is that what was the? And because it's it was a national thing that was launched on Sunday. Was that when the London Marathon should have gone ahead? That's
right, James. Yeah. So Sunday recently, due to the coronavirus, the charity sector is losing billions, which obviously is having a huge impact on the running and how the charities can help people. Obviously everyone's fighting to provide the best support, but with limited funds, it's going to have a knock-on effect. And so the London Marathon had a fantastic idea, and as it was supposed to be on Sunday, that event alone would have raised £60 million. We had people running that event for us. They trained hard, and like a lot of other people, wonderful people from around the UK and around the world coming together to support causes. And so what the London Marathon and some other organisations did was they created this platform, and they called it 2.6 Challenge. So they played on the words there with the 26.2 of the distance for the marathon. And people can use 2.6 in any capacity or 26 in any capacity. So you could do 26 press-ups, 26 laps of your garden, 26 hops on the spot, or you can do 2.6 kilometre run or a 2.6 mile bike ride, all within the government guidance, obviously, of your daily allowance. But getting involved and fundraising for your local cause, and actually giving people something to do at the minute. We're all sort of looking for things to do and keep ourselves entertained. And this platform can be used by any charity to reach out to their supporters. So what we've done is obviously encouraging our supporters to help in any ways and get think of creative ideas. what our charity ambassadors, trustees and staff have done, and other volunteers have done the Cool Down in Lockdown Challenge. And it's had a great response. We launched it on Sunday. It's been fantastic. You might have seen this. If you're nominated, you have a measuring jug. You have to stand 2.6, there's the number, meters away from your loved one, whoever you're living with. And they are going to get a bucket of cold water and launch it at you. Not the bucket, just the water. They're going to launch it at you, just completely drench you. And you've got to hold your nerve and try and catch as much water as you can in the jug. Bit of fun, light-hearted. And we've had lots of children getting involved, families getting involved. It has provided that light-hearted entertainment, and all the while supporting people affected by brain injury, for Paul for Brain Recovery, helping people in our city, across East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. And we're very thankful for everybody's efforts, really. So, and when you are nominated, you donate £3. So it's funds, it's awareness, and it's fun activity and positivity within the community. And we launched that, like I say, it's just been amazing to see everybody.
If people haven't been nominated already for that, where can they go to find it and nominate a friend? Or
Yep. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, so on our Facebook page, Paul for Brain Recovery, you can go along and see the guidance that's posted. It's pinned to the top if you want to start your own, Cool Down Lockdown Challenge with your own people to nominate. You don't have to wait to be nominated. You can start it yourself. So feel free. Please do get involved, guys. It means so much to obviously myself, all of our team, and ultimately the brain injury survivors who you will be supporting find their new normal. And on this, if you didn't mind, chaps, I'd just like to just sort of raise some awareness around the current situation with coronavirus and how we're all feeling. We are out of our routine. We have got a loss of income, loss of friendships, loss of independence, and just loss of that uncertainty. We're all questioning our future and how we're going to cope. And that is all very similar to somebody affected by brain injury. But the thing is, everybody else is going to go back to some normal, or something not as normal as you can to what your life was. People affected by brain injury have lost part of their identity. They're never going to get back, and it's going to take them months and years to find a new normal. You can imagine how uncomfortable that would feel for somebody. It's bad enough looking out your window thinking, "Go, I just want to crack on and get on with my life." If you don't know what your life is and that's lost. And obviously the money that people are helping and the support that we get from such wonderful people helps us support people affected by brain injury, helps us support their families to find that new normal and make them feel comfortable in the world and help them reach their new potential. Without that, if you're not sound of mind and you don't have the right support, what chance do you have? We all rely on, we have illness, we have injury. Unfortunately, generally, you rely on this to get you through. You rely on support, but you rely on your mindset and your intelligence to help you overcome obstacles, overcome illness, overcome injury. When you've had a brain injury, you can't rely on your mental strength or your strategy or your intelligence to get you through. It's a very lonely place.
Yeah.
And you can't articulate that to your family to tell them how it feels for you. It's very frustrating. It's very confusing. And it's just simply devastating for people. So having a point of access in the community where you can go along, you can be understood. You don't have to worry about your deficits and your struggles. We'll sort of laugh with you, we'll cry with you, but we'll encourage that level of acceptance and we'll help you find a new you. So thanks to everyone that's got involved, and hopefully that gets across just the power of how you're trying, how you're helping, and how amazing you really are.
Yeah, no, so it's a very, very relevant phrase, that, isn't it, for what we're going through now for brain injury, that finding your new normal.
Yeah.
It's, but yeah, very powerful.
Yeah, because generally after brain injury is quite a difficult subject for people to understand. It's so complex. And it's not something we've all sort of experienced ourselves. When we have a cold, we know how a cold feels, we break our arm, not break our arm feels, etc., etc. But brain injury, fortunately, it's not as prevalent as them other illnesses or injuries. And so it's difficult for people to understand. And actually, because there are a lot of people affected by brain injury where it's invisible. There are some people where it affects mobility, but there is a good proportion of people where it's invisible. And because the person can't maybe articulate how it is for them, it adds to the dilemma of people being able to understand, and the loss of friends, the loss of identity, the loss of independence, the loss of income, the loss of future is so huge. And I think, like you just said, Phil, at this time, it is a good opportunity for us to try and gain, you know, some of that understanding and that sort of sympathy and empathy for people that are going through that line of despair, as I call it. The line of despair is that brain recovery pathway and finding a new normal.
Yeah.
You've often heard the same often with depression in the past or mental health, where if someone breaks their arm, you know they've broken their arm, and you know not to, you know kind of how to approach that or to treat that area of a person with care. But with mental health or depression, you know, it's not visible, is it? And
Yeah.
you just alluded to that. Well, I'm really eager to find out. So you've built all of this positivity and network, had such a drive with Paul for Brain. How did you get into the world of business? Was that a natural, you know, Brainworks? So give us a little insight into Brainworks, how that came about, and did that feel a natural pathway, or was that something that it was an opportunity that was presented to you that you took with both hands? How did that come about?
Brainworks actually came about when I was through recovery again, when I was trying to get into men's health. I had the ambition of featuring in men's health. And I was eating good foods to be aesthetically pleasing. And I actually thought at the time, you know, I really need to be nourishing my brain and giving me the best chance. And every time we eat, we have the opportunity to nourish our brain. You know, that's fact. And actually, I think we live in a world where a lot of appearance matters more than how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and our emotion, which is quite sad, actually. And I think there is that awakening to that, and actually how foods can influence all those things, mood, thoughts, and if I'm honest, pre-brain injury, I was probably one of those people that didn't think about any of that. But after my brain injury, trying to nourish my brain, I realised the power of food and how food was really helping me with my performance and how I was feeling. Especially, obviously, I was on the back foot with neuro fatigue and just struggling with memory. And what I recognised was that when I was eating good foods and when my family was putting brain healthy foods into my meals, my function was better, my performance was better, my mood was better. You'll all know yourselves, lads, if you eat McDonald's all weekend, you ain't really thinking well on a Monday, are you?
True.
You know, we're feeling a bit bloated, but obviously all affects this. You know, our gut and our brain are constantly talking to each other, and you literally simply cannot function the most complex computer on earth on crap food. Well, it can actually. It does function, but it doesn't function well.
it's going to cough and splutter, isn't it? Like an engine, like a car.
Yeah.
But what was it an opportunity that led you into creating a business? Was it somebody who approached you? Was it a niggle that you thought, this is something I've got to do now? I've got all of this knowledge. I can take it into a business. How did that look?
So at the time, I recognised these foods are helping me. Credit good food of helping my recovery. And what we did recognise as well was that there was nothing specific on the supermarket shelf for brain health. You know, there's all this stuff for your protein and for your muscles, and a little boost and sort of mass gainers and all this, lots of different and drinks and snack bars, but nothing really aimed at brain health. And I thought that was strange. And so I spoke to a few people in our city, some business people, spoke to a nutritional scientist who also said, completely understand what you're saying and you're completely right. So we worked together on creating some snack bars, which was fantastic. And then there was some drinks at the time. We were sort of working in the kitchen, cooking up all these creations, which was really interesting. And so we branded with Brainworks. We didn't know what that came to be, with a brand agency from Leeds, and got the logo and everything else. And it was a really exciting journey, actually. You know, just developing the products, developing the packaging, developing the website, and bringing it all to life. And then we launched. We did a bit of a soft launch, really, and then we just found all the challenges. So all the fluffy bit, creating something, and it's all like, oh, yeah, this is great. And really wanted to just help people and provide a product that would nourish people's minds and help them, cognitive function. We're all up against it, and we're all flagging in this fast-paced 21st century. There's so many inputs in our brain. It's found that difficult. It's as wonderful as the world is, our brain's trying to keep up. And so there are lots of things that we can help our brain with exercise and other natural sort of remedies and ways of practice. Food's one. So Brainworks was going to be a solution, and trying to penetrate the food market is difficult. It's difficult, especially with a new product. What isn't as mainstream, if you like. So if you bring in a protein bar out, for example, everyone's going to recognise it. It's on trend. It's been on trend for a long time, and actually that's saturated that market, if I'm honest with you. Mm-hmm. But people would understand it better. So trying to bring a new concept, new idea, although everyone knows they're flagging, everyone knows that they're tired in various ways, and everyone should know that food plays a massive part in function, and not only bloating, but your cognitive function, your mood. No one really seems to sort of get it. It's almost like a bit confusing because it's obvious food plays a part in our brain function. And it's almost when you know yourself, when you're trying to start something, it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a lot of knocks at the door and different people and different influencers. I mean, when we did launch Brainworks, we were really excited. We had some local sports people. We had Jamie Peacock, Great Britain rugby league player, who was one of our ambassadors, Tommy Coyle. We had Liam Cooper, Leeds United footballer. So all these sporting celebrities, if you like, they knew full well the power of food, the power of exercise for the mind. It's just trying to communicate that to the rest of society, and I think there's a huge workload to be done there, which I'm keen to work on. Obviously, it's got a lot of work going on with Paul for Brain, but there's that education piece, and I think we're on a cusp. We've just been riding this wave for the last sort of 20, 30 years around mental health, and I think we're still on that journey, and I think it's still rising. Actually, it's still going, and food. I really do feel at some point over the next decade is really going to play into that, and people are going to start waking up to just how influential food is, not only for how we're looking, how we're feeling on the inside, and what it's doing to us on a cellular level. We do know that foods now, and there is research to show that healthy foods and healthy ingredients can help with Alzheimer's and dementia, the prevention, heart disease, and lots of other neurodegenerative diseases, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes. Food is a big problem for a lot of people, and
it's funny because with that in mind, I know when I get into my zone and training, I've done a good 3, 4, 5, 6 months, really good diet, full on focus, my routine's in check, and you get to a point, and it's almost like I remember now how great it feels to be doing all of this. It's almost like, and it's funny when you're not in your routine and you're not training as much as you should, and your diet's not on point. You're aware of it, but you kid yourself, don't you? Justify it. If you've had a bad day, you can eat that cheese toasty, or if you've been busy and you haven't had time to prep anything, you'll just grab something quick, and it's easy to get in a cycle and out of that positive routine and habit that you find yourself in. It's interesting, Paul, what you said there about the branding in the supermarkets, and I remember that we all know Innocent Smoothies, the drinks company. And all of the goodness. I remember they came onto the market, and you almost couldn't believe that everything in it was pure goodness. There was they boasted no kind of additives or added sugars, anything like that. But I do remember that they actually sold a chunk of their business to Coca-Cola. And I remember at the time thinking, that doesn't fit surely with the ethics of innocent and nutrition and Coca-Cola, which we all know is it's shocking in terms of their ingredients. It seems like you couldn't have two opposites. And I remember seeing an interview with the owner of Innocent, and he was asked the same question. It was like, well, it just doesn't make sense. And he said it was purely for supermarket shelf power.
Yeah.
Because Coca-Cola, as many know, Coca-Cola don't just own Coca-Cola. They have ownership of a number of food and drinks groups. And so because of their spending power within supermarkets, it allowed Innocent to have shelf space that they weren't able to have prior to that. And it changed their business around. I thought it was always very interesting to learn that.
Absolutely. It is.
Where are we at with Brainworks, Paul? Where are we at with that?
So we launched Brainworks with some fantastic feedback. We had our ambassadors. We were, if I'm honest, we had a soft launch and it just wasn't big enough. I think we needed some more experience within our team, if I'm honest. This food market and the people that were on our board didn't have that experience. And so we launched it. We were stocked in some Soul garages, around the city and Yorkshire. We had some talks with Morrison's, which was fantastic actually at the time. And we were sort of stocked in some delicatessens, fantastic local support for the business, but it wasn't enough. We've really got to get this on a bigger platform. And so we went through numerous challenges, as you'll appreciate, lads, when you start a business and you're learning so much and you feel daft and you think, well, how didn't we know that and how didn't we know this? But that's all part and parcel of the journey. And you just got to take that on the chin, haven't you? And just, just keep moving forward, learning from those mistakes. And so what we've done is we've had a change of the board. We've brought some new people in with a wealth of experience. I'm really excited, very excited for the relaunch of Brainworks, which, if I'm honest, was going to be relaunching with some new products. We've got a drink that's going to be coming on, a meal replacement drink, which is obviously fantastic for your body and great for the mind, and some snack bars again. And we'll be developing some other products over the next year or two with our new team. We were going to be launching actually earlier this year, and I don't think it would have been a good time to launch, if I'm honest with you, with all that's going on. So, and I think if we had have done, I think we would have thought that brand was just doomed. But fortunately, we never launched, and it's given us an opportunity to work on the products, refine them, do some more research, and finding out what research has already gone on into foods that we can sort of be promoting these research studies to show that food really does matter, because that's what people want to see. Really, I think for me, I just know it and I feel it, and I think everybody does. If you're really honest with yourself, if you eat a chocolate cake and you think about how you feel and think, versus if you eat something nutritious, some fruits, some nuts, seeds, or whatever it might be, for a fact your function physically and mentally is different. It's obvious, but people like to see the studies, so we're doing the research, and there are the studies out there to show how food and nutrient dense food with your fatty acids, your omega-3s, flavonoids, and lots of other antioxidants, and can play a huge part in helping your brain function at its best, helping your neurons, fighting the oxidative stress, and so on. So lots more research, lots of education to come out from Brainworks, and lots of great products in the mix in the background. So we'll look forward to that. In fact, lads, when I'm ready, when we launch, I will send you I'll send you some products out to try.
Two boxes.
Yeah,
two boxes.
Yeah, we'll send you some, and you can sample some. In fact, you could sample some. You can have some for your interviews when you're speaking to people.
We could be on the show, couldn't we?
Yeah. Well, I know how intelligent you two guys are, and I know that you really buy into your mental function, your performance, and it's obviously people like yourselves who are want to nourish and have the best well-being, not only for today, not only for tomorrow, but for your future and longevity, because that's food. Food's playing a huge part
It sounds like an essential piece of kit in like a business owner's briefcase.
Exactly.
Cognitive ability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome.
What's the ultimate goal with Brainworks, Paul? What's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal with Brainworks is to educate people, really get that education piece out there, and get people talking not only about about eating the products, but just about understanding how food influences brain function, and obviously to have a fantastic range of products from snack bars, drinks, to yogurt toppers, to breakfast cereals, and everything else, everything in between, on the supermarket shelf, mainstream, in your Holland and Barrett, and potentially Sainsbury's, your Tesco's, everywhere. You'd be pick up a bit of Brainworks within a mile radius. That'd be the ultimate.
Awesome.
Wherever you are in the UK.
What and not food groups, if you could give five foods that are for the average Joe, for anyone out there, that are great for mental health, great for your brain. What are the five really amazing foods that you just go that really love?
Chia seeds. Everyone knows about chia seeds. A little powerhouse. Walnuts. Obviously, they even look like a brain, don't they? You got your blueberries. You got your obviously fatty fish. Fish and your salmon, your tuna, all fish. It's got full of your omega 3s. And actually, I'll do a drink for the last one, which is green tea. Green tea is fantastic. Have you heard about something called BDNF?
No.
BDNF is brain-derived nootropic factor. It's a powerful little protein that stimulates neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons in your hippocampus. And actually, it repairs your neurons that are flagging. So BDNF is huge. Everybody should know about BDNF. And there are foods that help stimulate BDNF. So, green tea, your blueberries, another foods. Turmeric actually is another powerhouse anti-inflammatory properties with curcumin. So that's actually, if you're a curry lover, keep scoffing because it's super. It's got turmeric. It's fantastic for you. But obviously exercise helps with BDNF. Socializing helps with BDNF. Foods, sleep, and some other things that can really help stimulate BDNF, brain-derived nootropic factor. Stimulates neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons in your hippocampus. And actually, when BDNF is stimulated in the brain, it helps build new neural pathways. So, I've said to our service users at Paul for Brain, we are not hardwired, we are live-wired. As human beings, we are not fixed. And obviously that has come out in the research over, obviously, the years. At one time, they thought the human brain was fixed, and it's not. We can create new neural pathways. It's difficult. If you think about all these pathways within our brain, and we try a new hobby, and it's almost like a dirt track. It's very faint pathway. But if you keep working at something, it'll build. And almost if you keep at it over 6 months, a year, it'll be like a highway where the neurons are very easily talking to each other. And actually BDNF stimulates neuroplasticity, and it helps building new neural pathways. So for our service users at Paul for Brain, if an area in the brain is damaged, so for my example, the frontal lobe hemorrhage, the damage is repaired, but it's not completely repairable. There is an area that the neural pathways run through where they can't anymore. But what your brain is so clever at doing is it'll introduce compensatory strategies, and it'll build neural pathways around the damage. It won't be the same, and it won't be the same speed as your original, pathways and communication. And it has to go around, so it might be a bit longer. So for me, example, in certain ways, I'm slow at processing all this, that, the other. But you can build new neural pathways. BDNF helps with neuroplasticity. Actually, BDNF helps with depression as well. And so for our service users especially, BDNF is so important in helping to build these new neural pathways, and helping to develop yourself, and helping you to get over those challenges what were inflicted when you had your brain injury. So BDNF, brain-derived nootropic factor. Everybody should know about this. The creation of new neurons in your hippocampus. I mean, neurogenesis. What a word! I mean, fantastic. And you know, this is. I want to go into schools. I want to talk to students about neurogenesis. And when you are exercising and you are trying to, you know, trim up and maybe trying to look good, actually, another incentive to exercising and to helping yourself and your mental health is creation of BDNF. I mean, I'm bewildered. I mean, I've been on a journey where I've had to learn about all these things. But some of the research that is coming out around BDNF and other sort of brain healthy sort of activities and ways of being, it's just unbelievable. You know, so I've got a real passion with sort of Paul Talks and my work in schools, my work in prisons, to be helping people understand how this can help them on their. We're all on a journey, aren't we? Mm. And you know, and helping your mental health is really going to help reach your potential, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Well, by being on the show today and talking like you have, you will have literally educated thousands. This reaches many countries around the world in a short time that we've been running these shows, and I mean, you've certainly educated us. Just make a note as well. Paul is the first guest to say that Phil and I are intelligent. That will go a long way. In fact, we'll have you on every day, Paul. Just that's it now. It's the Business Lockdown with Paul Spence. That's it.
That's how he got his second episode.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Flattery will go a long way. Yeah. Flattery. Well, on that note, I mean, you know, if we had 3 hours, these we could cover so much, and which goes without saying. Well, you'll be back for a third episode in the not so distant future. We'll keep a keen eye. Use our group and our audience to provide resources and links to what you're able to share, and also drive attention back to you guys, because you're doing amazing work, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show and for you to provide value and insight to our audience.
Thank you. You know, thanks for having me again, guys. And I just want to finish, obviously, thanks to yourselves for helping us raise awareness, and sincerely thanks to everybody who's been part of my journey and part of Paul for Brain Recovery, the charity's journey. And if you've helped us in any way, I'm so thankful. Please continue to do so. And if you've not heard about us, please do visit our website, have a look at Brainworks, going to be launching soon. And the work that we're doing, you know, is really helping people who have had such difficult circumstances, and you know, helping them get over them. So that's what you're doing. Thank you.
Awesome.
Paul Spence, the Business Lockdown. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Business Lockdown.
Please comment, like, share and subscribe to help build our global community.
We look forward to seeing you all soon.